How's it going, everybody? Let's bring this down a little bit. Whoa. How's it going? Let's see who's here. Doc Wee's with the first. The Boosted Journal, thanks for joining. Gonna watch till my phone dies. Very cool, sir. Very cool. Alexander Burkle. Patrick Abrea. Database work. Finally something I've been doing and doing. When does it end? Never. It's never ending, says T. That's the truth. It is never ending. Database is the base. Still a little hot. Asher Online, hello. It's good to see you. Heartless. You're here. Awesome. I need to stop playing games while making games? Maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes you can get a lot of good inspiration from playing other games. Hey, look, it's a cool cyst. Ah. How are you doing, Doc Weeze? How's your day going? You're getting Envy for Christmas. That's awesome. That's a really, really good present. Cursed Gems? Check. Fixed class system with secondary and transcendent progression? Check. You have Duke Nukem Forever development syndrome? Donate to Drifty is free. Just press Alt F4. Asher. Why you trolling us? Why you trolling us? You can't play a game without seeing the mechanics. That would be cool, and then it's a never-ending cycle. Now you feel the crunch. Now you feel the pain of a true dev. You can no longer really play games to just enjoy them. Now when you play games, you're going to break down all the systems and see how things work together and look at systems and be like, how did they do that? And how do I put that in my game? There's no turning back, my friend. There's no turning back. Now you will never play a game the same. Mikey Kima, I'm here, multitasking, but here. That's still very, very appreciated. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thank you so much. Playing something to take my mind off the fact that I derped my actor placement. Ah, Doc Weeze. Why you do this, bro? Why you do this? Thank you for subscribing, Asher Online. I appreciate that. Let's get this show on the road. We will begin shortly. Very shortly. Hi, guys. I hope you have your coffee ready. We're ready to jump into our projects. Ooh, let's close this. Check out Yanfly's new video when you get a chance. The stat allocation video. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. In all seriousness, we have a 3-day weekend. I may get some work done. Hey, nice. Very nice. So, yesterday, we left off with a little problem here. Trying to get this code, I'm going to copy paste it to Sublime, to work with a passive state. Because it doesn't quite work with the passive state. It works perfectly fine when you use it in a state, but not when you're using it in a passive state. So I'm not sure what the problem is, but we're going to just change up the system and maybe add attack element. I was really hoping that we could just do like another type of, you know, like added damage based on the thing. So I spent my time banging my head on the keyboard at the end of the last stream, trying to figure out what the problem was. And we were trying to set base damage to user.atk. And I thought, well, maybe is that not all set up as an integer? It should be set to an integer. And I went, boom, let's just change it to 100. That's definitely an integer. And it still doesn't work with that set to 100. So I know that it's an integer, but it's just still not reading us anything that's happening. So this confirm effect is not happening when we're using it as a passive state. So unfortunately, I'm going to take this out of the thermal gem, the thermal jewel. And, oh man, it was so cool though. Anyway, we're going to find another way to make this deal damage, right? We can still do attack element thermal. So it'll still make our attacks deal thermal damage with this on. Let's go ahead and update the description on the item itself so the player knows it's not going to add additional. It's actually an armor, right? Is it? It's an item. Thermal jewel. I just put it in its own spot to make space. Okay. Doesn't add any additional thermal damage. It converts and converts damage. Converts attacks, or allows attacks, or makes attacks. Adds thermal damage element. Adds the thermal damage element type to basic attacks. But it isn't based on any stat or anything now, so it's not as cool in my opinion. Trap Snookum, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Damage multiplier? I don't know. It's just going to add element. It won't really do much of a multiplier unless the enemy is weak to thermal. Now this will happen if the enemy is weak to thermal. It's good to hear, Travis. If the enemy is weak to thermal, then they'll take extra damage for sure. We are using Yanfly's element core, I do believe. Let's see if I have it on. Drift, please read, I'm in UK on holiday. I'm from NZ, aka Hobbitland. New Zealand. Nice. That's cool. New Zealand's awesome. Is there a skill that lowers enemy resist to thermal? That would be something to add. If we wanted to, should we do that? Make skills. Oh, we can make a whole type of skills that lowers, like curses. We can make a whole bunch of different types of curses. That makes things more susceptible to element types. And then the jewels will have a role swapping on that. And we can make armors award certain skills. Or, I have an idea. Let's make the thermal jewel teach you this skill that makes them weak to thermal. And since it automatically changes the attack type, okay, let's do that. Let's make a skill. It's going to be the thermal curse. And I don't know what I'm using, maybe 64, or no, I'm using 5. We'll call this thermal curse. And what this will do is cause your target to take additional damage from all, and we'll call the state, no, not state, element types. We could just call icons. All icon 5. Additional damage from all thermal attacks and spells. and skills. We could even color code that if we want to. Do we want to color code it? I don't know. Maybe we will later. We come up with a convention. Should we make this cost TP? Occasion, battle screen, scope on all enemies and cost more TP. You'd usually want to do damage. You wouldn't want to apply one curse that causes them to take more damage really unless you're fighting a boss. This will be not very useful as a single target. Let's give it the scope of all enemies and make it cost like 30 TP. And it is a certain hit. We will give it a custom animation. So let's go down to the next blank spot. Put that down, 199. Looks like we're gonna have to add some more spaces to the JSON for animations. Let's change this to 250 for now. Give us a lot of room to play with. We're gonna add a lot of animations for sure. Let's go ahead and pick something like a fog animation and put this down here on 199 and change the mist. Oh, I thought about something. Last night, Hadison, you guys know Hadison, some of you do. He made all of these animations right here that have the X, like he made this art, this. He made all these. These are like his early works. He has 2 or 3 other packs that he's selling. He's been selling. And I asked him for permission to use these and also to use other packs as well. He gave me permission to use these like a month ago, but he also mentioned a collaboration type of thing. He's going to give me permission to use all of his projects, all of his animation works, his animation packs, in exchange for a shout out to his Discord, or his Patreon. So, I'm going to be putting that information in another video when I get everything sorted. I got this email last night as I went to sleep. So Hadison, thank you for your support and letting me use your new animations. I'm going to add them to the project today sometime or tomorrow and get all the information and shout that out. I'm sure this is the first preemptive shout out. Cheers, man. And yeah, thank you for letting me use your new animations. We're going to put them in the project. But for now, we're going to look at some of the old ones and replace this. This is going to be a curse move to thermal damage, right? So we'll make it like a red color. Maybe not fog. Fog is too limited in what it actually shows. Whoa. Let's paste this over here and change pollen to something else. Hey, I like that. But instead of darkness, we're gonna make it less of a flash, actually way less of a flash, and a different animation and sound effect. Or flash color and sound effect. Come on, copy. Come on, copy. You can do it. Work on my brain. Work on my brain. Do the brain work. Brain work. Do that. Get rid of. Let me put something else here. We don't need a million flashes. Thank you. We'll add another sound effect on like 4 that has like a flame kind of attack. Let's put this on frame 3. Okay, that's gonna work. Now this is Thermal Curse. Then you can have just a few enemies that do true damage, just takes more balancing work than normal. Anyone here a fan of Imagine Dragons? Sure. Absolutely. They're great. Creating really nice animations is hard to do. Yeah, it's a challenging thing, for sure. Please make that sound dramatic or Batman-ish. Okay, that's gonna work. Boom. We will award that. We already did. Okay, so it's getting a Thermal Curse animation right here. What we need to do is make this apply a state. So let's make a new state to the enemy. And this is going to be called Thermal Curse. Actually, we'll go with the bubble around it. Thermal Curse. And this will be removed at the end of battle. And it will last for 5 turns. And what it does is changes the element rate of thermal to 150. So it increases all the thermal damage taken by 150. Or it increases it by 50% because it's multiplying it by 1.5. So it's going to apply 50% more damage. And I can specify in here, take 50% additional damage from all thermal attacks and skills. Cause your target to take 50% additional damage from all thermal attacks and skills. Targets. Cause your targets, because it's a scope of all enemies, to take additional damage. And now that this is applying the curse 100% of the time, we need to award this skill when we have the state of Thermal Jewel. So we add the attack element of that, and we are going to add a skill. That skill, Thermal Curse. Inside the item, the Thermal Jewel, socketing this jewel will grant TP generate plus 10%, thermal resist plus 10%, adds the thermal damage element type to basic attacks, and teaches /IS 37? What? No, wait, that's not right. And grants. Skill 41. Will that all fit? I don't know. Maybe we have to lower the font size to make it fit, which we can do. Let's have a look at this in game. How about call it thermal decay instead? I like the name of that, Travis Newcomb. But thermal decay kind of sounds like a damage over time to me. And grants thermal. So we have to lower the font size. Now we have another skill, Thermal Curse. Cause your targets to take 50% additional damage from all thermal attacks and skills. Is it worth the TP that you have to spend on it? That's a question, because the battles will be pretty fast. This is a level 8 enemy with level 8 party. The party will probably be like a level behind the enemies. We have to build up our TP. Bang. Bam, got him. That was a weapon unleash, so I mean that was 10% chance of the time. 10% of the time she'll do the Chaos Orb until you upgrade the weapons. My brain, I'm saying words. I swear dyslexia have I. Thermal Curse, okay. Bang. Why does it have an axe down here now? This has got to be part of the... This has got to be part of the Olivia's battle system. It's showing an axe here. Does that mean he's weak to axe attacks? That'd be very confusing. I need to figure out what's going on there. When we put a state on him, it made him look like he's got a weakness to axes. Thermal Curse. And now it looks like there's a state of paralyzed or something underneath the spider. Why is it doing that? It's very confusing. It's definitely taking more damage. It's definitely working. Like it's applying the additional damage, you know. I'm going to look into the parameters. Next song, please. I'm going to look into the parameters of that plugin and see what's happening when I apply states on the enemy like that. All I'm using is the plugin itself, the Octo Battle. Weakness display plugin, break shield, boost point, weapon swap system. It's got to be in the weakness display thing. Weakness display system, enabler, everything under there. Turn that off. Let's see what happens. Shown elements, shown icons for those elements. Or I can leave it on and just adjust the elements list as well as the icons that it shows for those elements. I think we need to do this instead. Okay, I've turned the display off, but if I can just set up the, I can leave it on if I just update the numbers, you know, change it so that. Do you think it would be possible to make a dodging system similar to Mario and Luigi series? I mean, sure. It's possible to do that. That's using timed attacks though, isn't it? Like you have to press the button at the right time to deal extra damage, or press it at the right time to like block or dodge the attack. If I remember correctly. Would Monty Python sue you for putting a reference somewhere? Probably not. It also depends on how much money you're making. If you're not making any money or you're making very little money, I wouldn't worry about it. The more money you come across, the more problems you're going to come across. So if you're making millions of dollars, sure, you might get a claim somewhere. Because who doesn't want a piece of that, right? Okay, so we turned off the display thing, but by doing that, it's also removed the HP bars. You see that? It just completely removed the HP bars, which I personally love. So we're going to turn that back on and update the numbers, is what we'll do. Weakness display system is going to be true, but the element data is going to be different. Let's make a list of icons we're using for the elements and update those accordingly. In the database, we go to types, and I'm going to bring this up right here and just keep a little log of the types. Element, and then icon. One physical icon 1, 2, 4, 8. 2 energy. You know what would make this easier? I have an idea. If I just go like this, copy this, and paste this. Like, come on, come on. Boom. Easy peasy. Nope, nope, fail. Try again. Please try again. There you go. Ah, it can't be resized because it's in a menu. That's what's going on. I'm like, why is it not showing it? Just why is it not showing it? I want to go like this and then take this and do this. But this, like that. There, thank you. Just simply go like this. That's all. That's all it takes. Now in the database, in the plugin manager, go here, in the show elements, The element IDs that are on the list will not be 12, 11, 10, 9. We'll leave 8 even though it doesn't exist really. And for 1, we'll update this. 12, 11, 10, 9. We'll leave 8. In here, we change this number to 1248. Change this one to 1507. We change this one to 222. We change this one to 5. Change this one to 177. Change this one to 666. We change this one to 591. And we change this one to, well, whatever we want really. For now, we'll leave it at 1. Unrevealed icon. Unknown weakness 2. 14. What does 14 look like? Wait, can I see it from here? What about from here? Yes. Icon set 14 is what? This one. Unknown. We're going to use something else for unknown. We're going to use 93. Okay. Okay, I think we've done some updating to this plugin. Thank you, Sublime, for your contributions so far. And now we test it. Asher, please stop trying to troll the chat. Like, I don't know if anybody really falls for that, and many people watch on mobile anyway. I know you think it's funny. It was funny, like, when that first was a thing. It must be new to you. No big deal, though. Don't worry about it. Let's see if it updates correctly. We need to apply a curse to see if it updates the icons at the bottom. We got our HP bar back, which is good. Let's use an item to stay healed up. That needs a animation. Thermal curse. What does it look like when we get a curse on him? Hey, it looks right. You can see at the bottom, he's taking damage, extra damage from the thermal element. So that updated correctly. Doesn't show an axe there now. And when we add a new element type, we just need to incorporate that into the plugin parameters. That's cool. So if you have a bunch of states on them, you don't have to wait for it to cycle through to see. You can just, at that moment, look at the bottom and see a smaller icon. It's kind of cool. Alright, so we did that. We finished the jewel. We need to continue adding that type of thing, though. Let's make a corrosive, maybe. See, now that's a kind of socket that you'd want to have. It does several things. It gives you more TP generation, resists thermal, causes your attacks to do thermal, and it grants you a skill. But we need to adjust the font size right here. So let's go ahead and jump into the plugin manager, message core, and look at size. So we need to use curly brackets to decrease the text size and then increase it at the end. So it's backslash closing curly brace to decrease and open curly brace to increase. So let's drop it 2 font sizes and see what it looks like. So that would decrease it and that would decrease it. And I also want to undo those changes at the end, so I'd go like this to increase it at the end after all the text has happened. See if everything fits. Whoa, 2 sizes is way too small. We can decrease the size by 1. It made it extremely small. Socket in this jewel will grant you TP generate 10% thermal resist, as a thermal damage, blah 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 blah. We're gonna make that just a single decrease in font size. Bang bang. And change that back to right there. Take another look at that. Pick mechanized battle toaster. Oh no, I would never do such a thing as that. We can't pick that. It's too dangerous. Asher, it's too dangerous. Nobody knows what'll happen. It might disrupt the balance of the game. You're making a custom tile set after the custom battle backs. Yes, that's true, Vapor. It's a never-ending struggle. Oh, I messed up because I selected Mars and I didn't give Mars the ability to start with a feathered cap. Because the players are not originally going to start with a feathered cap. They're going to have to obtain that even if they find a jewel to socket. Got to hear that snah 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 again. Feathered cap. Put in the thermal jewel. How does it look? Socketing this jewel will grant TP generate thermal resist and add thermal damage element type to basic attacks and adds the thermal damage element type to basic attacks and grants thermal curse. So it spells right. It's using correct grammar. Nice. And it all fits. So we'll use that font size thing to get more information in if we need to. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Heartless. But I just love hearing snah 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 so much that I need to hear it every time. Let's make another jewel. We have more stuff to create. Thermal jewel. We also need to do some making recipes, crafting recipes. Let's do that first. So this is a recipe. Right? And we're able to craft certain things. We're able to craft these chest of picks, even with iron ingot. let's look at some of the items we have and what should we make with them. Something with an onyx, perhaps, used for high-end trading and crafting. We can make an accessory with this onyx. We would need an iron ingot to make an iron ring. So let's make that first. You can use an iron ingot and something else to make an iron ring. And then you would use an iron ring and an onyx to make like an onyx ring. So first of all, let's make an iron ring. An iron ring is going to be an armor. We're gonna need some ace writing or something for this. I think we should make an iron ring ace bright. Let's do some arting. Let's art it up. We're gonna make this an iron ring. File new, 32 by 32. We're going to use this color. We're going to use a circle tool thing. Like that. I guess we could fill it in, huh? We'll use this. Back to circle. Fill this in. I don't like that last circle. Let's try again. That'll work. And we'll make this transparent. So I'll go like this and press a right click. That makes it transparent. It's not quite perfectly symmetrical. Now is it? Does it have to be? No. Sure not. Sure it doesn't. Sure it don't. This palette's very limited. It works. I like that better. We'll go with that. Simple, easy, beautiful. And we will export this. DG underscore Iron Ring 1 as a PNG. Just like that. We'll go into Photoshop. We'll open up the game's IMG folder. IMG system icon set. Zoom in, go to the bottom, turn on our grid, change our grid so that it's looking for 32. Then we open up another thing, our A sprite we just created. And we select the entire image and press Ctrl-C. We go over to the spot we want it to be and paste it in there. Iron Ring. And we save this as the same thing, iconset.png. It'll say, do you want to overwrite it? We're going to say yes. Okay. Back in the game. We made a quick ring. Now we have a custom icon. Here's a drinking game. Every time you hear that snah, 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 take a shot. You guys will be so messed up at the end of it. To craft ring, you need iron and diamond and ripe orange. I don't know why that. Did YouTube randomly sign you out, Doc Weeze? It's done that to me. They're doing lots of changes. There's just some problems with YouTube in the back end right now. Even on the dashboard. You go to the dashboard, it's like an insecure SSL or something. It doesn't make any sense. Like, can't they make it a secure link? Anybody who live streams right now, they're not even using encrypted SSL correctly or something like that. It's so weird. It may be just a bug with the appearance. Like, it may be working, but not showing that it's working. So you'd think Google would be on that, getting their SSL encryption correct. Their new YouTube Studio Beta does, but there's also limited functionality for like live streaming and whatnot. So weird. What's going on, YouTube? Why can you not have secure SSL? Can it be encrypted correctly for your old dashboard? It's because they took Google Plus out and they're trying to remove all the Google Plus integration, but it's so embedded. It's just so embedded that it's breaking everything. That's why it fell apart the other day. Remember when YouTube was down for the first time in like years? They tried to do the fast way and just ripping big parts of it out. The whole thing crashed, blew up. They're like, okay, put it back and then start taking small things out. That's what they're doing. They were incentivizing so many coders and programmers to like integrate YouTube and Google Plus together as one thing and trying to shove Google Plus down everyone's throat. People just didn't want that. So now that they're removing Google Plus from the system, they're having a lot of problems because things are so intertwined. It's kind of a mess. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a mess right now. Like, that's my interpretation of it. It looks like it's really messy. Anyway, we're gonna do some crafting recipes. And we're going to make iron ring craftable. It's going to require iron ingot, a single, and maybe we'll make a new item, a hammer, a jeweler's hammer. A jeweler hammer. So let's make that jeweler hammer. It's not consumable, never, no scope. Price will be, I don't know, 500. It's going to be essentially the same thing as like a just some craft item. A crafting item that is used in many recipes, not yet, but it will be, relating to jewels and jewelry. And the armor type will be general armor, and the slot will basically be in relic. A simple iron ring that may provide, that provides minuscule amounts of protection. It's gonna be worth 1,000, because everybody knows a simple iron ring is worth 1,000 coins. This is logic. Everybody knows this. We're gonna have it give 5 endurance. Endurance plus 5. But it's going to be a recipe. It's going to be a consume. Thank you for this spell check. Jewelry. Yes. Thank you. Thank you from New Zealand. Thank you, New Zealand, from New York. Richard Bellamy, how are you doing? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. You might have to mess with resolutions as well to do everything you want. Don't increase it too much. You're going to start having some frame rate issues. And hopefully you're not too far along, because when you start changing resolutions, you start really messing with... I used to use 1280 by 722, but now I think it's a little bit too big when you come across a map and you're running at full speed and there's stuff happening. You start getting this frame, like the screen starts tearing a little bit, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. So lowering the resolution a little bit, zooming in more. You can get around it if you play with the camera zoom a little bit. North Kakalaki. What the hell is that? I want to use apostrophe S like jeweler's hammer, but I also wonder when we use apostrophes, does it mess with stuff? I am using it here, so I might as well go jeweler's apostrophe S hammer. Like that. Excuse me. So the iron ring is going to be a consumable, or not consumable, craftable item, but it'll also be a recipe for something else, the onyx ring. And we'll make this. This is armor number 14. We're going to add this to the recipes that you get when you get the Tinkerer's Kit. So we'll say armor recipe 5,14. And 15, because we're going to do the onyx ring next. So we're going to copy this, paste this here. An onyx ring, well, we can say a ring with a dark onyx attached that provides, what is the onyx ring going to do? It's probably going to provide reputation, provides rep plus 10. That provides reputation and protection. So we'll have that endurance, but we'll also include reputation plus 10. And this will be worth 2,000 or 2,500. What did I value an onyx at? That should play a role too. Onyx, not that much, I think. 500, okay. So getting these crafted will provide you with value. An iron ingot is 500, a jeweler's hammer is 500, onyx is 500, that's 1,500, and it crafts something that gives you 2,500, or maybe we would need another jeweler's hammer. So you couldn't sell these just to make profit, which is something I want to avoid. I don't want the player to just be able to do a lot of inventory management, looking at a bunch of menus to benefit them, because I don't want to incentivize that, because that's not going to be the fun part of the game, just going through menus and menus and menus. So I de-incentivize that by not making the player take a loss, but not giving them a huge gain for doing that sort of thing, just the item initially, not like repetitively doing it. So I'm using magic defense as reputation in this game. There's no magic defense because all of the calculations are going to be handled with endurance, which is the defense. So defense is defense in this game is endurance, which works for defense and magic defense, really. Endurance is defense, magic defense. It's the counterpart to the damage formula. You take damage from attacks and magic attacks, which will be strength and intelligence. The counterpart will be endurance. So we could probably make an Onyx Ring too. Since we have this open, let's just modify this. Oh, I messed that up by having this on. Oops. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back. Awareness +1. I don't know, that kind of looks terrible. It's fine though. It's fine. This is going to be Onyx Ring. I'm not going to get too hung up on it. Just got to keep moving on. Photoshop. Let's go ahead and close this one. We'll open up the new one we just created. I guess it doesn't look too bad when you're zoomed out. Kind of looks like a ring. Copy this, put it where it needs to be. Save it, overwrite it. There it is. Yeah, it looks okay actually. It looks like there's just a little black jewel placed on it. If you compare and contrast next to each other. When you really zoom out, you don't notice. Like, I don't know, I guess it looks okay. It's a tiny little onyx. So to make the Onyx Ring, we need an iron ring and a jeweler's hammer. So in total, we'll be using 2 jeweler's hammers. Let's add the ability to find the jeweler's hammer from our random loot. Item, jeweler's hammer, is the 58, number number 58. Go to our common events. Go down to our random loot assigner. And add 58 to our array. Nice. Magic defense does nothing and is a fake state? Well, not necessarily, because magic defense, it doesn't say magic defense in the game. Magic defense is now reputation. So if we go to the types, the terms, you'll see that magic defense is replaced with reputation. And getting hit by a spell is not going to affect your how do I say this? Like, it's a different stat now. It works in the same way that endurance does. So you get hit with a spell for damage, endurance will reduce it. So it's not that magic defense does nothing, it's just that magic defense now is endurance, and so is defense. Defense and magic defense are going to work as the new thing, endurance. And we've added a different one, reputation, to do different things. You haven't put Onyx in yet? You mean on the requirement for the item to create? On the armor? Yeah, I need to add the Onyx, you're right. Onyx 1. Thank you, Asher. I appreciate you. I really do. And the ripe orange. Okay, as a crafting, it's a recipe, right? You gotta have ripe oranges to make it. So there's still not the same stats dealing damage to the magic defense? What do you mean there's still not the same stats? I've disabled armor scaling. This is how it works. All of the skills will have a negative. B.def is going to reference endurance. Endurance is defense and magic defense combined into one stat. That gives me another parameter, the MDF, which I'm using to create a new stat called reputation. When is the stream going to end? I stream from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So, like 45 minutes or so. So, yeah, all of these things, unless the thing requires a check on the player's reputation, like faint echoes, howl at the target inciting traumatic thoughts and dealing something, something, something. Maybe emotional damage will reference the player's reputation. So, if the player has done a lot of bad deeds, I don't know, that could be emotional damage, and it will play on their reputation. So I could call upon this. This spell is referencing the enemy's reputation versus your reputation, and it's like a sonic. It's very, very pseudo damage, but it's damage. Element type emotional. It's very different. I can understand if it's confusing to you. It's kind of confusing, right? But it helps me differentiate certain types of things, giving a different element type. I can also check the parameters of reputation and story-related events. So if the player has high enough reputation, then they'll be able to activate certain things or take on certain quests, and reputation will play a role in if they're able to do certain things or the outcome of those things. If you become one bad mamma jamma, you wreck your rep. Yeah, I could even allow for permanent stat changes to one thing without affecting the character too much. So if they do good things, I could award stat bonuses as a reward. If they do bad things, I could take away reputation. Or, there's another thing I'm thinking about, I don't know how I'll do it, but there's another thing called infamy, which you can gain reputation for bad things. So I don't know what I'm going to do with infamy, but it's just an idea. Right now it's just reputation. I'm removing the magic defense stat. All of the things that the magic defense stat has been used for has been combined with the defense stat, which I've renamed to endurance. Hopefully that makes a little sense. Like, for example, charisma type of checks, right? Your reputation will play a role in, like, how well certain things work. The same way that bards get bonuses for being more charismatic and more reputable, right? So here's a skill that uses reputation. And my logic behind this is, if somebody says something to you or tries to tell you something, what they say only makes as much difference based on who's saying it, right? If one person says, like, say just some guy you don't know is like, oh, you suck at this, like, whatever. If one dude says you suck, who cares, right? But say a really, really close friend tells you you suck, that could hurt, right? So the reputation of that person will affect what is actually happening. Higher infamy raises shop prices? I like that, Cajun one. That's good. How would I go about doing that, though? How would I go about doing that? I don't even have an infamy system in yet, but if I did, I would have to store infamy in a game variable and then reference the game variable as a multiplier on the base value of items. That's a great idea. Maybe later, maybe later. But for here, like, music therapy, right? We're going to restore the party's HP with the power of music, and it's going to base their... this is going to be based on their intelligence, but also mainly their reputation. Their intelligence, their reputation, plus a base amount times 10% on top of that. So the person who's encouraging you and trying to help you, the reputation of that person will magnify the effect of what it's doing. It makes sense in my head, but I don't know. And since I've removed armor scaling, I do need to go over and just double check all of my formulas to make sure that I have something, all the resistances taken care of, right? Subtracting the target's endurance for when it's being called for. For the most part, I've done that. Chaos Orb is still too strong. That's 6, 7 stats minus the defense, but it's 2 hits, right? Chaos Orb, it's only hitting once, so it should be a higher number. But it's got 50% variance. Maybe I should drop that down to 30% variance. Plus it can critical. Emerge is going to hit 3 times. So I'm going to do this. 2.5 minus b dot def. This is actually a nerf, even though this number went up. So for this move, I'm using the player's endurance and the player's speed to reduce the damage that happens from the life stealing. And the reason why I've given extra defense on this, extra reduction, is because life drain on enemies can be very frustrating, so I've kind of reduced it a little bit. This is only one enemy, we'll have it using attack as well. Plus this, plus that, minus that. B. I think I need to double check one other thing. Okay, that's fine. Databasing. Webbing will play. See, intelligence is definitely the big role, so we'll do times 2 minus b dot def, which is endurance. The intelligence of the spider will help the web do more damage. And here we're using a ternary operator in the formula. So we're saying if the target is affected by a state, the damage is going to be this. Attack times 6 plus magic plus agility minus the defense, the endurance of the target. Otherwise, it is a.atk times 3 minus the target's endurance. So you can use ternary operators inside of the damage formula. And how it works is very simple. You set your condition with a question mark at the end of the condition. So is state affected will return true or false, depending on if this target has this state on them. If they do, this will return true. So if it returns true, it's going to use this code. Otherwise, if this is not true, it will always use this code. So if the target has webbing state on them, if they're afflicted by webbing, then when they do Thirsty Bite, it will do this extra damage. Otherwise, it'll just do kind of weak damage. You're trying to remove magic defense in your game too? You really only need to do that if you need another parameter, like you need a stat for something that's in the game that you can check easily. You could always add more parameters too using variables. I just kind of did it this way to, I don't know, try something new, I guess. Yeah, Doc, that's right, Doc. So it used to be attack minus defense, magic minus magic defense, but now it's attack minus defense, magic minus defense, because defense is endurance. Yeah. Magic defense is a whole other thing. How can you add random variance like an additional 1 to 6 damage to simulate adding 1d6 damage? Well, you could do a custom damage formula. Math.random will work. let's see. What did we use that for? I think we did it in a state. Maybe we did it in a state. Dun, 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 dun. We could use the damage core to make a custom state. Okay, here's a example of that. Travis, your skill, right? Your basic attack, whatever, blah, 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 your attack. HP damage, and if it was like a basic attack, you'd have HP gain, whatever. This is occasion battle screen, one enemy. Element, normal attack, and you can do something like this, damage formula. And you can go var random equals math.random math.random is going to return a value from 0 to 1. So you can check that like we did in the other skill and the other state right here. So we can say if random is greater than or equal to something, you can make the attack do different stuff. So math.random, and then you'd have another var, extra damage. And we use the same thing. You would multiply this times 6. And you would clamp it, right? So maybe you encapsulate this. Oops, not that. Maybe you encapsulate this entire thing with math.floor. So you're going to take a rounded down version of this because this is going to give you a float value between 0 and 1. And then it's going to multiply that value by 6, right here, order of operations. Then it's going to round that number down. So, for example, say the random rolled 0.4739, blah, 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 473. So then it's going to multiply that by 6, and then it's going to round that number down. So this is going to, at the very least, give you 0, because if it's like, it rolls 0.002 or something, and multiply that by 6, 0.01, I don't know. It'll give you 0 if it rounds down, but it can give you up to 6 if it rolls. No, it'll never give you up to 6, will it? What if we just mathed out round? You'll either use round, floor, or ceiling. Try all three to get the best results. I think maybe round will be the best. So it can still give you 0, but if you're going to make it give at least 1, if you want it to always give at least 1, use this. Right? Is that right? Or is it EI? Math.seal. Yeah, CEI. For ceiling, like that. So this will work because you're going to raise it. So if it goes very, very low, it'll round it up. So you'll get always between 1 and 6. This is what you want. So you'll do this to give you a random number, and then you'll give this to give you a random value between 1 and 6. Now this is just the setting up for the damage formula. You'll say if random is greater than equal to whatever percentage you want. Like say, how often do you want them to get the bonus 1d6 damage? What do you think of int being tied to magic and magic attack and defense? I mean, it just depends on how you want to set it up. You have to have all descriptions be reduced defense instead of magic resist. Yeah, I would say reduce endurance, since endurance is defense and magic defense tied together. So does the rep stat work like seed level and FF8? Not exactly, but kind of. Like it can, if I were to tie that to like some sort of salary the player would get. Sure. Right, Travis. So making it like this will guarantee it's 1 to 6. It'll never be 0 because we're rounding it up. So even 0.000 something will round up to 1. But now we decide how often does it add the 1d6. Let's say half of the time, right? Greater than equal to 0.5. Then you will say value. That's the keyword we're looking for. Value equals a.atk, whatever the attack is, right, times 4. Like say you're going to do times 4 plus you're going to add in extra damage variable minus b.def. And then you would close it off and say else value equals a.atk times 4 plus, no, just minus defense. All right, so what this will do is replace whatever's here and say roll 2 random numbers. One, set this variable, temporary variable, that will be discarded after this process happens, to a random number between 0 and 1. Do that again, except with this one, I want you to multiply that number by 6 and then round it up. And now, we're going to check the first one. If the first one is greater than equal to 0.5, meaning over half the time, right? Because it could be 0 and it could be 1. So if it rolled high half of the time, you can change. If you want it to be like 75% of the time, you'd go like that and whatnot. If it rolled over that, or no, 75% of the time, you would do the opposite, right? Because if it's greater than equal to this amount, if you wanted to say only 25% of the time, you would go like this. It's got to roll over 75. You'd do the difference of 100 that way. So if it rolled, say 25% chance to do an extra 1d6 of damage, you would go if random greater than equal to 0.75, value is its normal attack plus the extra damage minus the user's defense. Otherwise, if it did not roll over 0.75, you know, the other 75% of the time, just do a normal attack. And let's say you wanted it to be, one more less time so you understand how this works, if you wanted it to get like 30% chance, right? 30% chance when you hit, you do extra damage. Well, what would be the difference? You would take 100 and you would minus the chance you want. So you would say 70. So 30% of the time, it's going to do extra 1d6. Does that clear it up for you, Travis? You will need Yanfly's damage core, I believe, for this to work. Anyway, I'm not going to be needing this, so I'm just going to delete all this, but I'm going to copy it in case you need to see it again to this little thing here. Temporary notepad. Bang. We got it there. For Travis. Boom. Not a problem, Travis. Hopefully it helps. Do. What was I doing? Take care, Heartless. Thanks for coming to the stream. Have a good weekend. My dream someday is to be a popular YouTuber like you. I'm working on it. I have 25 subs. Well, I'm kind of a smaller YouTuber. I only have like 11,000. Some people have millions and millions of subs. I would say popular subs. Popular YouTubers would probably, I would consider them over 100,000 subs. So I have a niche audience of really cool people. And I like my audience. I like my niche group, you know, it's really cool. 25 subs, getting that first 100 is really hard, Asher. Keep up the work. I would say you're probably going to hear a lot of people say, try to get the best quality you can do, work on the best quality, blah, blah, blah. Tell you what, getting to 100 is about quantity. You need to put out a lot of videos. Put out a video every day if you can. And then once you have something for someone to subscribe to and they see that you're consistent, start getting better and better and better and put more work into quality, less quantity, more quality, but keep that flow going so you have at least a video a week. I mean, that's like bare minimum, a video a week. Yeah, so keep up the work and work on quantity first. I'm telling you, work on quantity first. You need a lot of videos because every YouTuber who's ever made it big, they'll look on their first videos and they'll be like, oh gosh, that was awful. But that's okay. You can private those as you make more. You deserve more of the... Oh, thanks, Asher. I appreciate that. You need to have videos to get views. So you could, when you start out, you could spend 30 work hours, 50 or 100 work hours making a super quality content. You're going to get like 5 views because nobody knows that you make videos. You have to make a lot of videos first. Make 50 to 100 videos and then start putting more and more work into them. I'm not saying make shitty videos, but focus more on making more videos at the beginning. And then as you get over that first 100 subs bump, start hitting that quality real hard. But you got to get that 100 first. You need quantity to get that 100. Then you start putting more into quality as you go from 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10, and so forth and so on. Yeah, you say that, Cajun, and it's true after a certain point. But there's this little stepping stone you've got to get over. You know, and unless you've tried it, you really... Like, I can't say how to go from 10,000 to 100,000 because that's where I'm at, right? But I can tell you how to get from 0 to 100 and how to get from 100 to 1,000 and how to get 1,000 to 10,000. And I'll tell you, the first thing you need to do is make a lot of videos. You got to get a video every day if you can. Get that first 100, then you focus more on quality. Quality is very important. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying to get that 100, you need a lot of videos. And by douchey viewer, it's really about what your video content is, not the quality. The quality of your video doesn't determine the quality of your audience. The thing about it is, if you make like clickbaity, crappy, rage-inducing videos, then you're going to have that sort of audience that wants that content. That's where you get your douchebag viewers. But if you make content that is helpful to people, you're going to find people who want your help. It's just pretty simple. Renihiko is correct. Travis said, I finally had 800 subs on my main channel. Nice job, Travis. 800 is no easy thing to get. That's cool. I mean, unless you're paying a lot for ads, which you can do. I've never done that, but people have made no video posts and got to 10,000 subs by just buying ads. Because that works. Advertising works. That's why this site works, because advertisement works. Yeah, so nice job, Travis. Nice job. You can't edit your video of Roblox because it's FLV. Convert it to MP4. OBS has a thing called Remux. Let me help you out. So up here, you have this thing called Remux Recordings. You click on Remux Recordings, and then you select the FLV video, and you convert it to .mp4. Then you take your MP4 and you put that inside your Vegas or your Pro Tool or whatever you use. What is the Premiere? Adobe Premiere is really good. I used it for 30 days, but then the trial expired and I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying that. I got Vegas Pro 14 for $20 on a Humble Bundle. Keep an eye out because every now and then Humble Bundle will do these software bundles. And usually they put a bunch of crap that you don't even want. But sometimes they put one good thing that's worth the value. So you put in, you get a Humble Bundle for $20 and try to get Vegas. I'm sure it'll happen again. And if you're not up to date on things, you can join the Discord, links in the description below. And keep an eye on this channel right here, Gaming News. And anytime I see a good Humble Bundle or a game that's really, really discounted that I think is awesome, I'll link it in here, so you can check out all the Humble Bundles. Also, I put it in DevTools too. So if I come across that software bundle again, I'll link the Humble Bundle right in here. And it's like for $20, you can get a really good video editing software. $23,000 subs here, but my videos are in Japanese. 23,000, Renehiko. That's fantastic. That's great. You've got to be doing something right if you get 23,000 subs. So hats off to you. Very nice. Movie Maker, Windows Movie Maker. You can do it. You can totally make that work. I did for the first, I don't know, month. Then I paid, I think it was $15 for a year. I had this discount offer on, it's called Filmora Wondershare. And it's not that great. It's pretty low. They give you lots of presets. It's not what I prefer to edit videos with, but I use Filmora Wondershare as a video editor for like a year. And then once that expired, I bought the lifetime license. I think it was like $30 or something, 40 bucks maybe. And then I was still like, yeah, well, I have it now. It's the best thing I have. But then I saw the Humble Bundle for $20, and I bought Vegas Pro 14, which is, it's okay. It's pretty good. It still crashes, but it's better than Filmora. So I paid $20 for that, and now I use that for all my videos that I edit. Yeah, sure. What was I doing? We kind of got on a little side tangent there. Digressed a bit. I love the conversations we have, though. This is fantastic. This is why live streaming is so much better than recording videos. Because you get that engagement, and you never know where the video is going to go, right? We could try to cover one specific topic, but then people will ask you something and then trigger a thought process, and then maybe even help you learn something. So I think it's definitely a really good learning process, trying to show what you're working on and trying to help other people. You try to help other people with their problems, you learn more stuff about your own problems. We were doing the reputation stat, right? That was one diversion. Then we went into another diversion, then another one, and another one. DJ Khaled busted the door. DJ, another one. We added the jeweler's hammer, and we were linking items. We were doing more database stuff, and we added a couple of new armors, the Iron Ring and the Onyx Ring, and they are craftable with the jeweler's, no, not the jeweler's kit, the tinkerer's kit. I don't want to overdo it on the amount of types of crafting. I suppose, since we've added these two, we should test them. We would need to get an Onyx at some point. Did we add the Jeweler's Hammer? I think we did. Yep, we added that to the possible loot drops. What we need to do is actually create a new crafting menu. A new crafting thing, using Anfly's crafting item synthesis for processing fruits, right? Didn't we start doing that? I think we did. We made orange juice applesauce. What other things? We didn't do anything with the cabbage, right? We have no other use for the cabbage. So I guess we can make like a coleslaw. Am I going to make item sets like in Diablo? I don't know. I do have a tutorial on how to make set items for MV. But I don't know if I want to do that. We probably could though with nah, I'm not gonna have like tons of different weapons and armors. It's going to be a fairly limited number of weapons and armors to make it simple, and they'll be able to be socketed with jewels, and you can customize the ones you have. So the ring should be a lot more attainable than the soul stones, because most of these soul stones would give you stat bonus and skills, but they're 1 out of 100 drop. 1 out of 100. So an Onyx Ring, will any of these actually give any? I don't want any of the soul stones to give reputation. So no MD. So this is what makes this ring special. Iron Ring is special because you need it to make this ring. This ring is the only thing that gives you reputation. I guess if you're walking around town with all this bling on, you're gonna have more reputation, right? I mean, that's how the rap game works anyway. I spelt tasty shroom wrong. Tasty shroom. Is there an E in here? Tasty. Oh, you know what I like about Discord? I can go like this. Tasty. Right. There's no C. Thank you for that. Game Addict asked a very common question. Is multiplayer possible in RPG Maker MV? If it is, then please make a tutorial on that. It is possible, but you need to have some sort of third-party thing. Like, you need to design the netcode not inside MV itself, but inside something else. Yeah, I got it, Asher. Like using PHP, you can make a multiplayer server, and you can have the clients connect to that server, or you can use Node.js to make a server and a plugin, a JS plugin that connects the MV client to your Node.js server. So yes, but am I able to make a tutorial on it? No. Like, I don't even know how to do that, really. Like, I know fundamentally the things that you have to do to make that happen. You basically need to, I would use Node.js. You need to code a server, like app.js, and then run that on a server, host the server, and you would need to pay for a server, really, if you want to have like encryption and like protection. And you need to set up the packet sending. So you'd have to design the packet sending in the data structure so that every frame of the game, it's in the plugin, it's sending packets of data as the player's X location, the player's Y location, any buttons the player has pressed on that frame. All of that needs to be encoded into a packet, a data packet, and then sent to the server, along with the request to do the next thing, saying, I would like to move up. The server says, I see you're here, here's where you are now, because your request to move up has been granted. And then the server sends it back to the client, and then the client moves up. So, it's not easy, and the MV engine isn't really built to do that. Can you do it? Yes, technically. Will it be easily, very easily exploitable? Yes. It will be easily exploitable. You would have to incorporate third-party tools to stop cheating and, like, you know, packet sending data, like intercepting the packets and sending malicious packets, or like, you know, incorrect packets that will have the server spit back different data, like to let the player go through the walls, or like access a treasure chest and saying I found this item, or it rolled this number. There's a Portuguese one called Wings of Misadventure. That's cool. I'd love to check that out. Yeah, you would have to have a server running at all times, but you can pay Amazon for hosting. You can pay, I don't know how much, but like probably for a simple, small server with, like, I don't know, a file limit and a bandwidth limit and number of users connected limit, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40, $100 a month, something like that. Depending on how big and grandiose you want it to be, and the stats you need allocated to that virtual machine, because let's face it, it's probably going to be a virtual server. And then also, like, you'll have Amazon's VPN system like set up so that they block the hackers for you. But you'll still have to have the code set up right so that the packets, that the data that's being sent from the client to the server isn't like tampered with, and it can be verified. And it's got to be packed in a specific way. It's got to be packed in a specific way that shows this is where I'm at, this is whatever, this is the thing I'm requesting, and then it has to be unpacked the opposite way on the server. So you unpack that data saying this is where they're requesting, this is where they're at, blah, 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 and then the server sends a new packet, and then they bounce packets back and forth like that. And optimizing it would be like picking how much data is sent in each packet. And you'd have to make sure that you allocate enough of a size so that there's enough bits for the data to be sent, for all the numbers, for everything to be sent. But you also want that number to be as small as possible so that it's quick and there's less latency. It's very complicated. But it's very interesting and cool, and I love the idea of doing like an MMO with MV. And it really boils down to the way data is stored, like how you store the packets and how you encode them and how you decode them. Like you'll have to have a key on the server and the client so that the packets are encoded. So even if they're sent, it's harder for them to get to. You could probably do that, encode them in a specific way, but have a key on the server that, how would the client not be, like how would you not be able to just open a hex editor and find the key? I don't know how to do all the security features, but you can encode it one more step. It's going to make it, is it still possible to hack it? Yes. But is it harder? Yes. So you encode the packet, and then the server has the key to decode that packet, and then send it again, you know, take that data, decode it, read it, and then prepare the data packet for sending back to the client, encode it, send it to the client. The client will decode that packet and then execute and then send back. And that happens every frame, right? The possible latency issues, yeah, you're going to have latency problems, so you'll have to code in optimizations like prediction and like other methods that the server can predict what's going to happen. If the player said they're going to go up this frame, the next packet that's sent, the server can maybe predict if there's a wall there, and if there is a collision, it can predict that the player is going to stop. And then you can remove some of that lag and optimize by using predictive algorithms. Well, we got derailed quite a bit, but I think we made some success. We made some success. We fixed some typos, very important. Asher, thank you for that. We added a jeweler's hammer, which is going to be required for the armors. We added 2 new armors, the Iron Ring, the Onyx Ring, and added them to the crafting system, the current Tinkerer system, which is down here. We fixed, well, we didn't actually fix the bug. We annulled the problem with the thermal jewel by removing the code to add additional like in fire damage, and we created a new skill and a new animation for that skill for the curse. We could even add a state animation. Let's do that real quick. State animation is 111 for now until we change it, and this will be the state animation that plays on the thing that has thermal curse. We awarded the thermal curse skill to the thermal jewel in replace of that. Also changed the way that the thermal jewel is handled so that it adds an attack element instead of just adding an element damage. And we're adding the skill, we're adding that, and this is increasing the amount of thermal damage the target will take by 50%. Last for that long. Let's give it an animation. I also want to reduce the amount of TP it requires to use it, because 50 TP is an AoE that blasts everything. So I'm going to make this very affordable. It's just going to cost 15 TP to curse, because it's not actually doing any damage. It's just preparing the target to take more damage. So we want the player to be able to use it without, reducing their TP back down so far, so that their damaging skills can still be used. Let's make an animation for the thermal curse. Let's take this same one. I think that's kind of a cool idea. Change this to center and get rid of the sounds and everything. This will be thermal curse state anim. And we can, well, this is sort of a screened thing, isn't it? We may need to make a different one. Let's go with something that's more like this. Nope, not all. More like this. This one's shorter. We'll go with this one and place this here. Get rid of all of the flashes, all of the sound effects. We're going to make this very small. It's going to be centered. Actually, it's kind of high, so we'll put it on feet. And we're going to call this thermal curse, state, anim. Change the animation to something else. Yeah, we'll get rid of the first frame. The second frame even. And that's it. We're going to actually batch this entire thing and scale it down. Or maybe we don't because they're different. Yeah, let's keep it that way. Kind of small. I mean, it'll actually be large, so we need to batch it a little bit. Let's scale it down to 50%, the entire thing. No, I don't like that. I wish there was an undo option right here, because that makes it very complicated for me. So now we need to shift everything down by adding like maybe 40 to the Y. Do this again for another 20 to the Y. And see where we have any things that are... This one can go up. This one is at 0, -72. So we'll make this one 0, -72 to put it right on track. The other one. This one will also be 0, -72. Very, very small and minor, right? That's what we want. So we'll hit apply to that. This is 200, go back to our states. State animation 200. And now I want to hit the target with the curse and see that animation in game. Charzanico asks when we're going to do the quest board, or we're not going to implement that. We will probably do something like that. We definitely need the player to know what to do. The player's going to need to know what to do at all points in the game, so we're going to have to put some system, some sort of quest system into it. That doesn't mean it's going to be in its own menu and its own thing. It'd be very easy to give the player the ability to check a log or go to like use an item to call a common event. We can do it that way. We can make a board, like a little area that they check that changes depending on what step they are, what step they're in. So we might just make a very simple, here's your next step type of thing. Oh, we got the 10%. Bang, bang. 10% chance to unleash. That should give us the TP we need. Alright, let's do the thermal curse and check the animation that plays on it. Boom. And you see it's got a little animation. Very small, minor. That's just what we want. A very little animation to know that it's got a curse. It also has a question mark saying it's got some sort of weakness. It doesn't know yet. But if the player hits them with that element, then the player will know, oh, they took extra damage from that. They didn't take extra physical damage from that staff. Oh, don't hit Jinx. Why did I hit Jinx? I think my targeting system messed up there. I think my mouse was targeting Jinx. I can target Jinx. We missed. Damn it. Heal us up, Jinx. We need some healing. Now that we did, you see the question mark changed to the element right here. So we put that on him and it showed that it's got a weakness to something, but it didn't know yet. So when we hit the enemy with that element, because now with this jewel on, the thermal, all of our attacks do thermal elemental damage, so it showed it took extra damage and it showed you, oh, extra damage from elemental attacks down here. So that's how it's set up. Very cool plugin. I like it. Olivia, fantastic. Mwah. That's going to do it for today's live stream. I want you guys to have a fantastic weekend. Those of you who have Monday off, enjoy your 3-day weekend. Thank you so much for coming to the live stream today. And for those of you who come almost every day or every day, I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting what I do. If you would like to consider supporting what I do, you can check out my Patreon page. It is patreon.com/driftwoodgaming. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, I am at twitter.com/driftwoodgaming. I'm on twitch.tv/driftwoodgaming. Here's my YouTube channel, Driftwood Gaming. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you like to support and you don't want to have any money to throw at me, that's fine. It's, you know, liking this video helps. If you would like to join the conversation and join our Discord, we have that. Links in the description below. All the links are there for you to check out the stuff related to me and my channel and what I do. You guys are awesome. I love you guys very much. Thank you for continuing to come to the live streams. And the feedback that the conversations we have and the feedback I get on my projects, it really means a lot to me. I'm going to have a good weekend. I hope you guys enjoy yours. Hope you make good success and productive stuff on your project. And if you're taking a break over the weekend, cool. Enjoy it. Come back refreshed on Monday. We're going to be working on the project some more. Until we're done with it, we're going to keep doing things on the project. So thank you guys so much again. We'll see you on Monday. I stream every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Charizadico, see ya, man. See ya. Asher, thanks for the new sub, and thanks for coming. Doc Weeze, Cajun1, everybody who I missed. Game Addict, Travis Newcomb. You guys are great. Renehiko, thank you for tuning in. Catrick. Do you like purple?